Recreational Mathematics, Episode 5, part of History of Math 11, the good parts version, but also good for math of all ages. We like promoting thinking whatever your entry point into mathematics is all about. Because History of Math 11 has some fascinating big ideas that we're going to loop around and talk around today. Math has developed over many centuries and continues to evolve. It is a global language that we help use to understand the world, that there are societal needs across cultures that have influenced that development of mathematics, that tools and technologies help drive the catalyst for mathematical development, and that notable mathematicians in history have nurtured a sense of play and curiosity, which is why we're going to be listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson, amongst others. Of course, we are going to start off with a technological use of mathematics. It doesn't feel like math, but it is. Of course, the clue for this one is down in the bottom left corner, but the hint from this newspaper article share was to hold it close to your nose. Look so it's blurry. Hold your gaze and slowly move it away and see if you can see the mystery 3D illusion. A good time to pause is now. All right, we got Rebus puzzles. Can you pause and guess the words and expressions to make up these 3, 6, 9, 12 different puzzles to push your thinking? Press pause and then we'll reveal the answer when you press go. All right, so can you move 4 matchsticks to form 3 squares? Geometry is an important part of mathematical thinking. I don't always do great with this, but a lot of these are puzzles for a reason, which means if you think a little bit outside the box, ironically that we have 2 boxes here, you can make it so that it makes 3 squares. Pause for a moment, do some drawings, take a look around, and when you're ready, here comes the answer. Moving the 4 corner ones, move them inside to form 3 different squares. All right, another little problem that we like is a magic square, which has a question mark in a spot where if you can figure out what all the different combinations of lines do, you'll be able to figure out what the answer is. Pause it here, and when you're ready, we'll reveal the answer. Here's the answer. All right, we've got Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's going to be talking about communicating and representing today, because we sometimes need to explain and justify math because math ideas help lead to decisions, and we often look at different scenarios in many different ways. Here's what Dr. Tyson has to say about math as it explains reality.
It has an unreasonable utility in the universe since we just invented it out of our heads. You don't discover math under a rock. Yet, it empowers us to provide accurate and predictive descriptions and understandings of the universe. And so what comes of this is you learn to abandon your senses because you recognize they can fool you into thinking one thing is true that is not. You abandon them, you use your tools that do the measuring to say, okay, that's the reality. Then you make a mathematical model of that you can manipulate logically, and then you can make new discoveries about the world that, frankly, you'll just have to get used to.
This is why we like using calculators and such tools, because they help lift us to such a level of precision and accuracy in such a fast way that we can start having some of these deeper thoughts about numbers than we ever had before. So curious for you, do you like using a calculator, or is there a different tool that you kind of wish that we stuck with? Some of the big ones of the past that do get used from time to time still include the abacus and slide rule. A little project rabbit hole to go down is to explore different mathematical tools that didn't quite make it to Texas Instruments sales page. And then there's these other ones where how does this make sense mathematically?
I'm going to do something that's never been done before, ever in history, and you are going to witness it. Ready? There. This is probably the first time that a deck of cards has ever been arranged in this specific order in history. First time. Think of all the decks of cards being shuffled around the world right now. Think of all the decks of cards shuffled around the world throughout history. Every gunslinger saloon, every poker night, every game of Go Fish. Even taking into account every casino game ever played, every cheesy magic trick you've ever seen, every time you played solitaire on your computer. Even considering all of that, given the law of probability, the order of the cards in this deck has probably never occurred before in the history of the universe. and probably never will again. Sounds crazy, right? Let's find out why.
We're not going to go into the formula for that one at this point. That's a fun one for you to untangle and see why it is that every time you shuffle a deck of cards, it's the first time. Instead, we're going to give you another challenge, and if you use only the digit 8, can you add, subtract, multiply, divide using just that digit, but get to the number 1000? So much like the earlier Connections video game that we shared with you earlier from the wonderful TV show Countdown, can you use 8 and variations of numbers that only have 8 in it, like 8,888, to get to 1000? Gonna let you problem solve that one for a little bit, and then I'm gonna give you a hint in 3, 2, 1. The hint is use only addition. And as always, we like getting you into a zone of frustration, but not leaving you there. So when you are frustrated, unpause, and the answer is going to be shared in 3, 2, 1. You start with 888. You subtract that from 1,000, which leaves 112. That means if we start working with some 8s, you can go 888 plus 88 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 to get to 1,000. And this week I'm going to share another online game because October is baseball playoffs, and I'm happy about the playoffs because I'm a Mariners fan, and for the first time in 24 years, we are in the American League playoff series, not just the wild card one. So as a trip down memory lane, I'm going to share with you a baseball simulator. The link is here, so you can copy that one down. You can do a search for Micro League Baseball 2 1989. You can follow along on the QR code and take a little bit of a rabbit hole project and explore what other baseballs there might be as well. Because once upon a time, we did have to load the game. We'd have to turn on the machine. I'd usually go upstairs and start making a snap. And then I'd come down and start loading the floppy disk, a real floppy disk, not the save icon version. And then go back up, finish making the snack, and by the time down, this was ready to load. And yes, these are the features, the special effects, the graphics that were so amazing as we got to choose a wide variety of lineups and strategies, including like Major League Baseball, American League Classic Stars, National League All-Time Stars, and then even real teams up into the late 80s. I always chose to run with the Mariners or the Kansas City Royals. I loved George Brett at the time. So of course we get to play this game, we get to explore the emulator, and then the rabbit hole essentially goes down with this idea: is baseball the perfect mathematical game? There is a lot of people who will argue that yes, it absolutely is. There's movies that show how statistics can really make a difference on this as well. What do you think? Is baseball the perfect mathematician's game? And what do you think about the graphics that some of us had to grow up with? As a reflection, did you see the image? How many of those rebus board puzzles did you solve? Could you figure out that math trick? Sometimes with the matches, you kind of need to see them a couple times and get into the rhythm, and then they start making more sense. Magic numbers, we're going to come back and explore those from time to time. I'm curious if you like videos to help explore the maths, or if you prefer worksheets and just reading math equations and problems and thinkings that way as well. And the struggle is real with video games. And of course, is there always something else that you thought of this week and would like to share? Share it with your teachers here at Partners in Education, and enjoy math because it's Math Monday, and recreational mathematics is an important part of History of Math 11. And as a go-away project, not giving you the answers on this one, here are some more rebus clues to decipher and make your brain hurt a little bit more. Have a great week.